So, I had a question in my comment section and today I'm going to be answering it, which probably seems like a really short question, but I've got a surprising amount to talk about it. So, what's the question? The question came from SleekWorthyMustache, and it was this: when will we be getting the Tier 3 Sharkbite speedrun? So, without any further delay, I'm NinjaRailU, and let's get into this video. So, just to explain some things, as many people will know from various places, I started the LEGO Universe speedrunning community a while back, and we now have a small group of some pretty active people. Specifically a shout out to Encree for hosting the speedrunning server, and to Vicey, who's got thousands of attempts at the Avant Garden's Monument speedrun, and thousands of hours of practice. It sort of covers up why the speedrun community actually exists in the first place, which is for this reason. LEGO Universe server projects are all far from completion. Even DLU, the most complete project currently in existence, is limited to the first 2 worlds, and not even to all of the second world. You can get about half an hour to an hour out of the main quest chain, I would guess, before it becomes a game of just grinding in Avant Gardens and collecting remaining achievements. The way DLU testing is structured means that this is less of a problem than it could be, but of course, most of us aren't in the DLU testing team, and so don't have that opportunity to play. The best bet, if you want completeness, would be Uchu, but Uchu doesn't quite have as much content and is difficult for the average user to set up in a multiplayer context, so you really lose that social element. What you're left with is a game which you can play for a few hours, but have little reason to necessarily grind at. It's not like you can show off your achievements to other players. And this problem only becomes worse with the less complete but easier to set up servers. This is where the LUSR comes in, with the realisation that, honestly, given the servers currently available, the original gameplay isn't really enough to keep people interested, but also that we're an LU community. If we're going to do something whilst we wait for LU, playing LU really does seem like a good bet. And that's where we come in, creating leaderboards for difficult challenges which are playable across lots of servers. For instance, our by far most popular speedrun, the Monument speedrun, is playable on anything from Luni to Woolus to Uchu. So that might explain why a question about speedrunning LEGO Universe, an MMORPG, is cropping up. One thing I feel I should note as well is the element of exploration in the LUSR. You see, whilst I have submitted a speedrun for the Monument, I'm near the back of the leaderboards because I'm not a particularly great speedrunner, and the other non-speedrunning challenges aren't hugely active. The reason I get so much enjoyment out of the LUSR is the element of researching and finding new mechanics, from understanding the various jumping and falling states in the game to finding quirks in the physics engine or to finding cool out-of-bounds glitches. So even if you're not interested in committing yourself to the hours of practice it would take to compete with Vicey and beating the Monument, there's plenty of room to spend time researching new strategies for the various challenges available, or competing in non-speedrunning challenges. The next part, I guess, is to discuss the specifics of Sharkbite 3, or SB3. In Avant Gardens, when you fall into the water near the picnic area, you get eaten by a shark. The first time you do this, you'll notice an achievement, Sharkbite 1, crop up in your passport. If you do this 9 more times, you'll get SB2, and after 90 more times, for a total of 100, you'll get SB3. The SB3 speedrun has become something of a meme for a little while now, given that it literally requires nothing more than running to the picnic area and repeatedly hurling yourself to your demise. But although not necessarily an interesting speedrun, it's not also really an easy one. Surprisingly, there are definitely optimizations to be made, and so it's not a wholly unreasonable idea. Different routes includes choosing between ground pounding and free falling, tiny slope speed optimizations on your run towards the edge, which would be significant over the longer run time which you get by doing something 100 times over, and deciding whether to jump over obstacles and get some initial downwards velocity or to run around them, save the time spent higher due to jumping. Basically, if anyone actually wants to run it, they should feel free. It'd be quite an interesting speedrun, just also a time consuming. The other issue, however, is related to the server on which you choose to play it. You see, getting smashed when you pass a certain height level in a certain area is split between 2 parts of the game. The client knows that when you fall into the water, or off the edge of Crux Prime, or wherever, that you should die, and as such your camera remains in a position which gives you the best viewpoint possible, which, now I'm thinking about it, is just really macabre. However, the actual action of killing you on the server is determined by a script which notices your position and tells the game how to act based off of that. As such, any server without this script implemented will leave you alive, but with your client waiting to get respawned by the server, completely unable to move. In Uchu, this is solved in testing with a /smash command, but firstly you wouldn't get the achievement, and secondly vital time would be spent typing, slowing the speedrun down a lot. It's definitely possible in DLU, but of course DLU only speedruns would be completely unfair to the community, and OpCrux doesn't have a proper alpha phase available yet. I haven't mentioned the LUSR server because honestly I don't know at the moment. The LUSR server is taken from OpCrux source code with some features unnecessary for speedrunning removed. I don't know if SB3 has been implemented into OpCrux yet, and I can't check the LUSR server at the moment as Enquiry's having internet issues, but given OpCrux is actively being developed and Simon does want to initiate a testing phase at some point, including Avant Gardens, this will likely be added to OpCrux, if it isn't already there, and could definitely be added to the LUSR server if it is in OpCrux, if there's demand for it. And a quick explanation because I know someone will ask about this otherwise, the LUSR server is currently private to speedrunners and researchers. If you want access to the server, you can just boot up Wallace or Uchu, record a reasonable speedrun attempt of the monument, and we can create an account for you on the server. Anyway, hopefully that answers your question, worthy Sleek Mustache. It's currently possible, if extremely awkward on Uchu, to carry out this speedrun, and it's not hugely likely that an open source server will be released with that feature for a while, given people throwing themselves to their death is hardly an important feature for standard gameplay, and there aren't any actively developed open source servers at the moment. So I suspect your best option, aside from the LUSR server, is to wait to get into DLU. And that's about it. I hope you've enjoyed this style of video, answering questions from my comment section in possibly way too much depth. And if you have a question yourself which you'd like me to make into a video, throw it out there. I'm going to try and write scripts, even if I can't record, for these videos weekly from now on, so I look forward to your questions. As always, the developer channels are in the description. They are the legends who make this all possible, so subscribe to them to show your support, or just join the LUCH, say hello, let them know you're really grateful for what they do. It really does help motivate them. And with that, I have been Ninja and I will see you around.